Hi everyone, I'm Natalie, the Manager of Adult Services at the Westmont Public Library. In honor of our summer reading program theme this year, Level Up, today's book recommendation is actually going to highlight some of the board games from our board game collection. First up, I'm going to highlight a couple of collaborative games that are in our collection. The first two of these are spin-offs of a game called Pandemic. The original Pandemic was released in 2008, and it's a collaborative game focused on curing diseases that have broken out over the world. So players work together to research cures by playing different roles. And two of the spin-offs that we have in our collection are Pandemic Iberia. This is a spin-off set in 1848. Players take on the roles of nurse, rural doctor, sailor, and others to find cures to malaria, typhus, the yellow fever, and cholera. We also have Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu, which is a bit more of an extensive spin-off. So instead of focusing on diseases, this takes place in the world created by H.P. Lovecraft and ramps up the tension because players must defeat 12 eldritch horrors as opposed to just 4 plagues or diseases. And so players work together to seal portals in the fictional towns of Arkham, Innsmouth, Dunwich, and Kingsport, and hopefully prevent the end of the world or lose their minds. For something a little bit less board game focused, we do also have a couple of Sherlock Holmes consulting detective games. These collaborative games provide different cases for players to work through and solve. The game provides suspect interviews, newspaper clippings, maps, and more, but there's no dice rolling, player movement, things like that. The games are very thoroughly researched to provide an authentic Sherlock Holmes experience, and the game is more of a test of wits than luck or anything else. We also have a couple of games in our collection that are specifically for 2 players. I know sometimes it can be difficult to get your whole gaming group together. So first we have Sky Team. This is collaborative and designed exclusively for 2 players, and it challenges its players to silently act as pilot and co-pilot to land their plane at airports around the world. So you use a variety of dice to control the speed and access of the plane, extend landing gear, contact mission control, and ensure a safe and smooth landing. But players aren't allowed to talk to each other, so they have to figure out the best way to land their plane without actually communicating, and hopefully avoid crashing their plane. We also have a spin-off of the Settlers of Catan game called Rivals for Catan. This is a card-based game, and players duel as princes of Catan to build and expand settlements. So much like the board game, you gather resources, build roads, expand cities, and try to conquer the enemy player to rule Catan. But instead of having various bits and bobs to move around, it's strictly card-based and designed specifically for 2 people. Our collection also features a number of general games focused on strategy, puzzles, designs. We do try and have a little bit of everything for everybody. Some of the games in our general collection that I find particularly interesting. One is MLEM, Space Agency. The premise of this is that it's the year 2075 and cats, having successfully taken over the world, are now aiming for cosmic dominance. Players will compete to send their intrepid feline exploration teams into space. Roll the dice, push your luck, and see whose kitty explorers will find fame and admiration in space. We also have a couple of different games based on Dune, the book series and movie franchise. In this one from 2019, you can compete as one of 6 great factions to take control of Arrakis through alliance, treachery, and strategy. You can play as a noble family, guild, or religious order to negotiate, bluff, and fight your way to total control over the most valuable resource in the universe. For more design-focused games, we have Sagrada, which is a dice gathering game where you compete against other players to create the most beautiful stained glass window. So you have to draft dice and create certain patterns to gain the most points, and the most skilled artisan at the end will win. For something a little bit more nature-focused, we have Arboretum. This involves collecting gorgeous tree cards to design the best arboretum by creating beautiful garden paths. You can focus just on building your beautiful arboretum or up the competition by strategically selecting cards for your hand that will prevent players from building their own arboretums. These are just a handful of the games that we have in our collection. Our board game collection lives in our lobby, and it is also available in the catalog, so we encourage everyone to come by and check it out. And if there's a game that we don't have that you think we should own, please let us know. We're always looking for new things to add.